The music industry is an ever-changing and evolving platform, and since the invention of the phonograph, technologies of recording and distributing music have changed drastically. The phonograph was developed through the 1940s and sparked changes that allowed recording and distributing. Traditionally, music had been enjoyed at live performances and was a public activity and signal of status. CDs, vinyls and cassettes were steps towards wide consumption of music, but are now seen as nostalgic cultural artifacts. Record sales peaked in 2000 before plummeting until 2008, where the introduction of streaming services boosted the industry. With the rise of computers and handheld devices, iTunes allowed for purchasing of music without physically buying a record, as well as allowing for singles to be purchased. After iTunes, music is now sold as a service through streaming, which filters libraries of music, making it easier for listeners to find what they want to listen to. As Vikstrom outlines, music has changed from a product to a service. The traditional medium for music distribution was physical copies, and with the introduction of the cloud, music became accessible to a much wider audience, hence the introduction of streaming services. These services allow for information to be filtered and people can source through info. Industry also changed as there is increased connectivity between audiences and less control for distributors. With the physical distribution of music, record companies could control audiences, as there was a direct medium that they could control sales through. But the cloud is widely unregulated and unmeasurable, making it harder for labels to stop these downloads. The cloud and networks allow for greater interactions between audiences and has created new audiences, such as with 9 Inch Nails' release of Ghosts 1 through 4, which was released online for free by the band's founder Trent Reznor, which sparked thousands of fan-made remixes and videos to be put online. Another change in the industry has been the blurring of the line between amateurs and professionals. Digital technologies that were previously costly and highly difficult to use, such as production software, are now widely accessible with programs such as FL Studio or Ableton, allowing people who are traditionally audiences the opportunity to produce music. Australian EDM producer Flume won a Grammy for his sophomore album Skin, which he produced on the program Ableton from his bedroom, beating out records that have been produced in high-budget studios. Streaming services are currently the most widely used medium for music consumption, and like previous mediums have had a monumental impact on the ever-changing modern culture. Streaming services have led to many changes for musicians, one being greater independence and freedom. In the past, many artists were at the will of their labels, but cyberspace has given artists a lot of freedom. An example of this is the ability to release music outside of being a part of a label, such as the band The Grateful Dead, who release their albums online under their own independent label, which allows them to reach a larger audience, as well as reap a greater profit margin. Another impact is the loss of some parts of the industry, such as record stores. Places to buy records were very important in past cultural contexts, but now with the ability to download music anywhere, anytime, for a much cheaper cost, some record stores have closed down, and many of the ones remaining rely on nostalgia to sell their products. Another important impact is the way music itself is being written and produced. Artists have to cater to their audiences, and many artists now tailor their music towards listeners who use streaming services. Many recent albums from large artists focus on a slurry of catchy singles rather than creating a cohesive project. Post Malone and Drake had 2 of the best-selling records of 2018, yet were critically hounded by websites such as Pitchfork for creating albums full of singles that were deliberately produced to be placed across various playlists on streaming services to boost sales. To conclude, digital technologies have caused a profound disruption in the music industry, and as history has proved, it is likely new mediums will arise.